That's right.
Context is law.
That's right.
I mean, I refuse to try to go back and forth with somebody on social media because, you know, you can't have good dialogue.
Well,
but,
and
yeah, go ahead.
ask a kid, a 16-year-old kid, who are your friends?
Yeah.
And they show you on their social media.
Or video games, yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, who's your friends that you do things with? Oh, they're right here, social media.
Yeah. So, like you said, having coffee, sitting at a table with microphones and talking is always good ways to really talk and connect, right? And have that time of connection. You want to add something, and then we're going to get to our audience participation.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, audience. I know y'all ready. I know you guys have been ready. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We got a hand up already. We are ready. Okay, we're going to get the mic and, okay, we see you over there too.
How much am I allowed to talk about? I have a whole note on my phone, and I don't know how much I'm supposed to mention. The first thing that I wanted to say that I notice a lot with the whole body positivity is that another thing too is people feel a lot of guilt about what they're eating. Like if they're like, oh, I ate McDonald's today instead of eating a salad. I feel that it's okay to eat fast food in moderation. Enough of anything will kill you. And so I think that's also a big part of, for example, you've mentioned balance a lot today, where I feel that it's really important to not beat yourself up over exactly what you're eating, but also keep in mind that depending on what you're eating, like and how much of it, it can be harmful. And I feel like that sometimes a lot of people really lose that especially when you see these influencers that are like, a day in my life where I eat nothing but like berry bowls and salads, and I had a single kale leaf for lunch, and then you feel like you're supposed to be like that, like it's like that's the only way to live. But it's okay to eat a Big Mac every once in a while, but it's not okay to eat a Big Mac every single day, you know? And so I feel that that's something that a lot of our society really struggles with. And then touching on the toxic masculinity part is, I feel like toxic masculinity becomes a problem when it comes to the point that you're telling someone else how they have to be. When it comes to pressing your beliefs onto someone else. And another thing I fully believe in is that emotions are okay. You should approach your emotions how you approach your body, with a neutral standpoint at first. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be irritated. It is okay to be happy. You don't always have to strive for happiness and strive for just complete joy 100% of the time. Does it suck to be sad? Yes, absolutely. No one wants to be sad. But it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry and want to scream. But a big part with emotions is that it's not okay what we do with them some of the times. And that's also where the toxic masculinity comes into play, where it's when they boil over and they come to screaming or throwing things. And it's okay to feel emotions, but it's not okay to lash out at people. It's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to like cut off all of your friends and completely isolate yourself. But that's another thing with mental health issues. Just like it's okay to be happy, but you shouldn't gloat if you win a board game and make the other person feel bad.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, I do appreciate that. I like what you talked about, basically finding that balance. That's important for us to do that. And I always tell people it's not what we feel sometimes, it's what we do with those feelings. And having that emotional maturity to be able to verbalize what you feel as opposed to acting out. So I agree. Thank you.
Hello all.
Hello.
I would like to talk about death in the context of body positivity, fat phobia, health, because we're all sort of, or the dialogue sort of took an approach that said health is sort of a moral mandate that we all share. It's the societal expectation that like, oh, we're all striving for health. And then we're talking about body positivity, then taking it, oh, we're all striving for skinny, kind of being the extension of that health value. And I have a past of pretty intense disordered eating as well. And one of the things that sort of freed me was the reminder that no matter how we do it, we will be dying at the end of this adventure. We may get hit by a bus tomorrow, regardless of whether we had salads for lunch every day. And so I like to kind of incorporate that in the dialogues about health, eating disorders, body positivity, and I was wondering what people kind of had to say about that. Sarah?
Yes, death is such a. Anybody ever think about death?
Well, I watch
Yeah.
crime shows literally religiously. I think about it.
So that actually is one of the things early in therapy for the eating disorder that we got to pretty quickly. In our society, a lot of times conversations around food and eating disorders and diets and all of the things are centered on like prolonging life, which none of us have any guarantee of, as Em mentioned. And I think that when we separate out the judgment over food and the judgment over bodies and all of these things, and understand that any of us get out of this alive. Like, that's just a reality. I think that it puts some things into perspective. So for me, I had wasted 15 years of my life counting every grape, and I decided I didn't want to live like that anymore. And if that meant that I had a fewer minutes at the end of my life, I'm okay with that. It is a personal judgment call. I think that the more we can remove judgment and morals from the discussion of food in general, the better off we would be. Food is fuel, period. You're allowed to eat what you want. We live in a society where we are very fortunate. We have access to food. There are many countries in which this would not even be a discussion. So I think it is really important to put it in context of the global situation. And yes, I agree. We're all going to die at the end. I think with my doctor, for instance, I refuse to get weighed at the doctor. And I have a wonderful provider who's like, okay, we're going to look at your blood work. We're going to talk about, what our goals are. And I want to wait once a year. You don't even have to know it. She's like, I'll take it blind. Because the thing she needs to know is if I'm losing weight too rapidly. So we have some weird ideas about how weight relates to health. I don't think that it is as related as all of us think. Yeah. That was a little rambling.
So I want to ask you all a question really quick. And because we all are going to die. I agree with that. I believe that is true. But I also.
We're all on that page.
Yeah, we can agree on that, right? That's what we can. But I want to ask something because and I'm going to give a personal thing, right, in my question to you all. So we know that we may only have a certain amount of time on this earth. Can we agree that what we eat sometimes can impact how we experience this life? Because for me, when I watch 600 Pound Life, right, sometimes I'm eating things that really kind of could get me to where they are, right? And I'm sitting there eating, and I realize that when I'm eating things that aren't good for me, my body hurts, right? My knees hurt.
But that's a different discussion of good versus how I feel.
No. But for me, when we say we're going to die, so just enjoy life, to me, enjoying it is not hurting when I walk. That's my perspective of it.
Wonderful.
Right. So with that said, I think that we should also talk about that as well, because sometimes we don't. We just say, enjoy life, do what you want, you're going to die anyway. And it's like, yeah, I know I'm going to die, but while I'm here, I would like to walk up steps and be able to breathe. I would like to, and that has not, and I'm not talking about weight, I'm just saying that some people, because I know skinny people, I'm not going to name anybody, that we be walking together and they're small and can't breathe, right? And we be both like, girl, when we going to make it up these steps? And, so I think that we have to talk about that part as well and hold some personal accountability that I want to live this life the best way I can.
Okay, so I read a book called 1 Month to Live, and this husband-wife psychologist team interviewed all these people who had been told they have 1 month to live. And what they found that to a person, they all sat there and there were 3 things that became important in their life. The first thing was get right with God. And that's different for different people. It didn't matter what faith they had or anything else. It was just get right with God. That was the first thing. Second thing was repair any broken relationships that they had. And that was huge. That was number 2. It's like, who cares whose fault it was or what was said? Repair that broken relationship before you have to leave this earth. And the third thing was tell everyone you love that you love them. A simple thing like that. So I wrote an article about it one time, and I said, what if you were told you had 1 month to live? And the whole point is, why do we wait until we're told we only have 1 month to live? Yeah. You know, if those are the 3 most important things, it isn't living in a big house or driving a fancy car. It isn't about our body or how we look or anything else. It had a lot to do with relationships, with God, with people that we had broken relationships with, and with people that we love, and having a chance to tell them.
Anybody else want to answer the question out there?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I agree with you, Aaron. We are only on this earth for who knows. We don't know when our time is up or our number's up. So you can have the attitude to, I'm going to do what I want or eat what I want. But you can hurry that time up. And so if you're just eating what you want, like I watch my 600-pound life.
I love that
all
show.
the time, yep. And clearly, their quality of life, even though they're still alive and they're here, is not good, and they are not enjoying life. They are in a lot of pain. They're having so many health issues. They're on the verge of their heart stopping at any moment. But then on the opposite side of that, I also know marathon runners who are very healthy, and they just drop dead.
Exactly.
So there does have to be that balance like we talked about earlier. You do have to know your own body, like what it's saying to you, and you do have to, if you want to live for the longevity that you could have, then you don't want to do things like just do what you want or just eat what you want. Because
I just want to enjoy my time.
yeah, it can
right?
hurry it up, and
But
there is such a thing as
There is a really great resource that I would highly recommend that I used in early recovery. It's called intuitive eating. It can be used as a diet. Don't use it that way. It's bad. But when you are intuitive, like I agree with you. There are definitely things we can do to feel better in our bodies. There are foods that I eat that make me feel like garbage, and so I don't eat them except when I just want to, because I'm a free person. And then I know I'm gonna feel like garbage, and that's okay, because I am a free person. But ultimately, when we attune to our bodies and trust that our bodies are smart, they are made for survival, our body really will tell us. Like, it's not like I want to just sit around and eat potato chips all day long. That's what people hear when I tell them, I eat what I want. I eat what I want. I didn't hear that. But that's a lot of times what people hear. They're like, well, you're just gonna end up on 600-pound life. And I'm like, and if I do, none of your business. Like, I don't.
Well, I'll be watching. So.
Okay, girl.
I'll be watching. Next question.
One more.
Oh,
I'd
I'm
like to
sorry,
answer
Hannah.
that.
Yeah, please.
Okay. A lot of it has to do with the way we look at what we call food.
Yeah.
Okay? Food is not your friend, as we know it. I mean, you look at broccoli and cauliflower. Broccoli and cauliflower were made by man, which means its molecular structure is incomplete. Any bean other than garbanzo was made by man. Its molecular structure is incomplete. When you consume too much meat, you develop uric acid. Too much sugar, you got glycemic acid. Too many carbohydrates, you have carbonic acid. All these acids add inflammation to your body and cause your cells to swell. Then when you eat something you're not supposed to, that inflammation hangs onto that garbage. And now people are what they call fat. You're congested, you're not fat. Okay, your body's lacking the minerals it needs to push all the garbage out. Okay, when you look at your body simplistically, you have 2 fluids and a bunch of cells. You keep your blood clean and your lymphatic system clean, it will keep your cells clean. Okay, if you think about the history of man, Noah's sons lived to be over 600 years old. Okay, and if you ever saw the movie Noah, there's a part where Anthony Hopkins is talking to the granddaughter, and he's foraging in the ground for 15 minutes, it seems like on the film, to get one berry. Okay, we'll go to the grocery store and we'll smash a pound of berries. Okay, the body isn't designed to handle all that. Okay, you need to eat everything in moderation. And once you get the moderation correct, then you start eating more. Personally, I mean, in Adam, you know, he's a fitness trainer, but I'm guessing his macro says you need 2,800 calories a day.
Is that, is he right?
My BMR is like 2,000, so
2,000.
including
So you weren't
in,
too far off.
Okay.
that's basal metabolic rate, so we all have that. You have to,
I don't know what you're all talking about, but
Okay,
I love it.
so
Yeah.
Adam, who weighs more than me, eats less than me, because I can consume 4,000 calories a day and not gain a pound, because I eat cleanly. I make sure the foods that I eat have a complete molecular structure, which, you know, it's hard to do in today's society. I used to work at Ruby Tuesdays, and we had a garden bar. It had over 48 items on it. And there was one item on the garden bar that wasn't GMO, but everybody looks at it as healthy food. Okay, we look at, everybody has their thing with spinach. Spinach is man-made, but you can go out in your backyard, a lot of you, there's an herb called lamb's quarter. And you eat lamb's quarter, and it's more nutritious than spinach. Not only will it heal your body, it will cleanse your body. So you just